Hello, once again, it's Rick and Ivan. Rome is Burning live stream, middle of the day. Well, I guess afternoon of the day. Just a short little stream, mostly because I'm still laid off and still bored at my house, and just wanted to chat over a cup of tea since I can't crack a beer. It's Wednesday. And Ivan is driving, so
Yeah, I'm driving to school to buy books to get robbed.
get ripped off. It's obscene, dude. The freaking student book racket.
Oh yeah, dude, you got to get in on it someday.
Just start making. If I was a professor, that's what I would do. Like, yeah, the required reading is my book, and it's,
Well, you go and
it's $80.
You got to buy the new edition.
You can't buy the old edition. I moved 2 pictures around.
You go translate that book by Saint Cyril, and you can sell it for $300 to theology students.
Oh yeah. Well, for theology students, it's $300. Everybody else, I'll give it for free.
Yeah, that sounds fair. Well, you know, the international book racket, like you can buy the same textbooks for like the Indian market for $10. And this kid in Cornell was doing that. He would buy these textbooks from like Malaysia or India. They're printed for like English students there, college students there, and he would resell them for like a reasonable price. And like Cornell ended up suing him and expelling him, I'm pretty sure.
Bunch of assholes.
I know.
Jeez. He should have told nobody.
Well, it was like somebody found out, you know, somebody told.
Stitches and shit talkers. Stitches need walkers.
There got to be like a Bitcoin market for textbooks somewhere, like where you get them for a decent price, but you buy them for Bitcoin.
Don't rat out.
Idea. It's a good business idea. Selling international copies of books.
Don't rat out your friends, kids. Don't reveal the sins of others unless you're like actively hurting somebody. It's just a real dick move.
Yeah, let the guy make a profit off of selling you books at a reasonable price. Jeez.
I don't believe in intellectual property anyway. Whatever.
Me either. I think it's a racket. I mean, I believe that like writers deserve some compensation for their writing, but I think the copyright should be like 10 years, not like a lifetime plus.
Yeah, but like you can't really enforce copyright so well anymore. It's like a constant. You're constantly outrunning the thing. It's best just to honestly find some other way to profit off your work that isn't making that isn't copies of it. A lot of people do.
Most writers they don't sell that many books.
Yeah, exactly. No one goes into writing for the money, unless you're a college textbook writer, in which case you're a billionaire.
Those guys, man.
So I wanted to talk about
huge salaries too.
Oh, man, forget about it. And if they're a professor, that's just extra spending money for them. But what I want to talk about was some of the stuff Mako Horcho had said on her recent episode. Please be patient. They have spiritual autism, which is a pretty funny title. I can't remember which episode number that was of hers. I have it here on my list. Number 30. Well, she's already 30 episodes in. So it's a quick little talk about it, and maybe I'll read from this book as well, because this will be like a mostly like just religion focused stream here today. But I'm sure we'll wander eventually, and if someone wants to hop on, feel free to hop on. I posted the links to the relevant chats. All right. If you guys heard it, she was reading comments from her last episode, and so 3 of the things I took notes on were from the comments, or from one guy's comment basically, and 2 of them were from her and Jack. The first note I saw with the commenter had said that everything it's a meme in Orthodoxy that everything that isn't Orthodoxy is Satanism.
That's kind of true sometimes.
I don't know how like what he means by everything. Does he mean like things around the world? Does he mean other denominations? Because I got the vibe that he was talking about other denominations.
I think it's other denominations plus ideologies plus.
I guess
There is a
mhm.
toward that. I don't know. I don't know if it's all encompassing. But
Yeah. I think the problem here is that this is the problem is that we're using a modern lens to look backwards in time. And we should be using the early church lens or the apostolic lens to look forward in time. I mean, if you're reading scripture, you see that Christ founds a church. He doesn't write a book called the Bible. He doesn't start a movement called spirituality. He founds an institution called the church, and he hands it to the apostles to care for and promulgate and spread. And all these churches are in communion with each other, as in they all consider themselves one body. That's what Paul says. It's the body of Christ. This is what the church is supposed to be. It's one united thing. And if you read Christ's prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane, this is what he prays for to God. He's like, may they be one as you and I are one. This is why it's called communion, because the way the three persons of the Trinity are united is through a communion of love. So this institution called the church was founded as that. This tight-knit organization or institution, not a disparate group of squabbling denominations, not a non-denominational thing, which basically just means a denomination of one. So when you're looking at history, the history of the church, or looking at you can't take modern biases and use those to interpret backwards in time. But even if you were just kind of like trying to piece together what the early church looked like, you would use the writings not only in the Book of Acts, which kind of show the church in action, that very very early form of the church, and not only Paul's letters, which have some clue as to how these churches functioned. We'd also use some of the writings of the very early apostolic fathers. St. Irenaeus against heresies he talks a lot there about how the institution is structured through bishops, through priests. He talks about sacraments, talks about the body and blood of Christ in communion. The Eucharist. These aren't things that are present in like what we would know as like American Protestantism, where you sit in a building, maybe you sing some songs, and the guy talks for 2 hours at you. That is what is alien and foreign to the Christian experience historically. So it's kind of weird to I'm gonna skip forward a little bit. Actually, no, I think I won't skip forward. I'll go back to some of the things I just said right now in a later line item on here. Second thing, the guy said that it was decent for monastics, but not for laymen, because for laymen it descends into petty moralism. Like that, like that just doesn't sound like anything that I would recognize as the Orthodox Church. That sounds really weird. I mean, there's sure. It's a bad idea to take the behavior of autistic online Orthodox people as representative of what the average Orthodox person is like in an Orthodox parish, what the Orthodox life is like. Because sure that there's a heavy emphasis on monasticism in Orthodoxy. I think the Catholics used to have a very strong emphasis on it as well, but it's really declined over time. I think even most Catholics will admit that. But as for saying it's good for monastics, it's not for laymen, that doesn't make any sense to me, because what is prescribed for monastics is not what is prescribed for laymen. It's very different things. If you're a monk, you're signed up to this kind of life where it's the rite of tonsure, and is, in my opinion, and other people's opinions, it's also a sacrament. It's like the sacrament of marriage, except you're not getting married to like a woman or a person. You're becoming married to, almost like to Christ in a way, and you're dedicating yourself to that way of life. That's not something that happens in the life of a layman. I mean, you have certain forms of obedience to your priests, to your spiritual father, to the parish you go in, but it's nothing like the type of rules and obedience that's required of a monk to his abbot. It's completely different. That's why I'm saying that you really shouldn't take the things you experience and talk to with people online as representative of orthodoxy. I mean, not even me or anybody else that's online. I mean, it's okay, like a throwaway comment that make what says like, oh, you can't just go in and witness a liturgy. You absolutely can go in and witness a liturgy.
No, easily. Nobody's going to stop you. You can come in. People will be like, hey, how are you? What's up? Why are you here? You know?
And I think here's where I'll skip forward a little bit, which is what Jack had said, that and they both had said that they were taking kind of I guess what I would describe as like a hesitant or careful approach to it. And yeah, absolutely, I think you should. I don't think it's a thing to be entered into lightly. I mean, I remember the first time I went to an Orthodox church, I didn't go in the building. I stopped outside the door, and I'm like, I'm not ready for this, and I went home. So that was kind of weird, because I didn't feel like I was prepared. But once you're in, you're like, oh, it's just like, if it feels strange and serious, and it's a lot of red tape, a lot of ritual around joining. But it's only because how divorced our lives have become in modernity from the kind of life that Christ demanded of his people. Like, what's really alien is the way we living day to day, and the way you live a real and regular, normal Orthodox life. That's the way a human being should live. Which I guess it's easier to say now, having been in the church for it's been 3 years now. That like I see that now. I see how this isn't just like a denomination. This isn't a club. This is a life. But there are problems, and this is what the guy had said in the other comment. This wasn't Jack and Mako's comment, but the guy had said it's a bit of an ethnic clubhouse, and therefore it's been attracting a lot of race idolaters lately. The ethnic clubhouse thing is different. It's a different issue, in my opinion, from the race idolater thing. The race idolater thing is just because you have some people who are realizing the truth of Christianity, but like they don't want to become they want something more complex than what American Protestant has to offer, but they don't want to become Catholic and pledging their allegiance to a dude who's licking the feet of Muslims either, which I can understand.
I think in the United States, the ethnic clubhouse thing is really not as true as it is perhaps in like Serbia or other places either.
Yeah.
Like an Orthodox church in Croatia is full of Serbs, and that's true. But in America, like I go to church, everybody's really American. I mean, they might have Russian heritage. We have a few Georgians, but it's like a really ethnic mix. Diversity or whatever, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's really not as much. Orthodox Church of America, anyway, OCA is really not that much of an ethnic clubhouse at all.
Yeah, my parish is an OCA parish, and there's it absorbed a former Russian parish a long time ago, and because of that, there's a lot, like half the parish is of Russian ethnicity, but it doesn't really call it the culture of the parish, because the rest of it is kind of the usual grab bag of ethnicities in Miami.
Yeah.
You got Hispanic, you got American white, you have black people, and I've only had, in fact, just recently for the theophany service, I had my first kind of a racist moment. the Okay, it wasn't for theophany; it was the day after Synaxis of John the Baptist, and also the old calendar Christmas. We're sitting there, and I can't remember what we were talking about. We were talking about I guess it doesn't matter. I shouldn't be spreading this crap anyway. It was this little old lady, and she made some comment about letting other people into the country, and she kind of like realized she was gesturing towards me. But at this point, I don't really care.
And you were like, "You're right. You're right. Don't worry
I'm
about
like,
it."
yeah, we should, yeah. I think it was more funny than anything. I wasn't really like offended by it or whatever. I can't control the pains of little old Russian ladies. But the ethnic clubhouse thing, I mean, it'll happen, but it's rare, and it's not any more pronounced than any other kind of in-group, out-group mentality you find in any other human organization.
It's not like you don't find this attitude among Catholics either. Old Catholic ladies will make similar statements, so it's not an Orthodox thing at all.
Yeah. Especially like if you get to the areas which are like more historically Catholic dominated. I'm not sure how strong. But then you can't see the Irish Catholic strain is very strong in America anymore anyway.
Well, I don't know. Where I live, you definitely can.
Oh yeah.
I met a lot of Italian Catholics too, and they're pretty red-pilled. But I'm in New York, so everybody's Irish Italian if they're not Puerto Rican. Or Jewish. It's Jewish, Puerto Rican, Irish, Italian. Those are like the three main.
Oh man, that's true. I gotta go back to New York this year.
Yeah, let me know when you're here.
Definitely. What was the other thing that was said? Jack is something very, very interesting that he sees less missionary activity focus in the Orthodox Church and more spiritual focus. I'd say in general, yeah. I mean, there is a heavy emphasis on the inner spiritual life than on evangelization. I think that's honestly it's very sad, but you can kind of understand why when you see how kind of bizarre the Orthodox Church is set up in America. Like this whole jurisdictional thing, we have a Russian church here and a Greek church there. That's not existing anywhere else in any part of the world.
It's a mess. And the thing is, Orthodox Church has actually done a pretty good job evangelizing in Alaska, for example.
Yeah.
One half of Alaskan natives to this day are still Orthodox. The majority of them are still Orthodox.
Yeah.
So, it's not like Orthodoxy can't do evangelism right.
Yeah, and also I'll quote Father Barnabas Powell, who says a lot that the places that have been evangelized with Orthodoxy as their first contact of a form of Christianity have usually historically remained Orthodox. So you have a lot of countries that are just Orthodox countries. So it's there, but in America, because it's such a small piece of the big Christian pie in America, and because it's still kind of fractured, and honestly, I think world Orthodoxy is still reeling from the kind of just mass slaughter of Orthodox people in the 20th century. Yeah, it's been insane. I think it's been tough trying to get that up, but there are Orthodox missions. There's one that runs out of my church, but it's very small, and unfortunately, it's not focused a lot on America. There's
a lot going on in Central America right now, like a lot of people in Guatemala.
Yeah, I think there's an attempt right now by the OCA trying to put an Orthodox mission over in Key West, the southernmost key of the Florida Keys, because there's no Orthodox presence down there.
That's interesting, because it's like Greeks really settled Florida. I was looking that up.
Yeah.
Like some of the earliest Orthodox churches in America were in Florida. Or in lower 48 anyway.
remember back when I went on an anniversary trip with my wife. Well, before she was my wife, it was a trip that I proposed to her on. We went down to the Keys, and then when I was down there was a Sunday morning. I'm like, see if there's an Orthodox church to me. There was nothing. It's just dead zone.
Yeah, that's most of the country.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sadly it's very common.
I mean, I'm in the state with the most Orthodox churches right now. I'm pretty sure New York has, I think, most of them.
Okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can kick. Get out of here. There's a guy in the chat, spreading his garbage. Honestly, if you're gonna bring this trash to the chat, I'll be frank. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to fucking hear it. Go somewhere else. That world orthodoxy can't evangelize because it's not truly orthodox. Fuck off.
Oh my god. And nobody can really truly evangelize. Nobody's like truly Catholic either. Truly.
I'll tell you,
maybe you can be truly Mormon.
There was a flood. Okay, I can't remember what part of the country this was a flood. There was a flood in, or even if it was in this country. But someone had told me this story that Orthodox people were trying to help people in the area that was flooded. So they had their inflatable rafts there. They got some supplies, trying to life jackets for people who were stranded out in their houses. I think this may even have been Katrina, but I'm probably wrong. I don't know. But there's a monk who's helping coordinate all these activities. And he's like, okay, we have people here, we have people trapped there, we want to go here. And in the middle of it, he's stressed out and he kind of just closes his eyes and he tells them, all the Orthodox Christians there assembled, he goes, if we were truly Christians, we would be able to walk out on these waters and pick these people up ourselves. If you're approaching other people with this air of arrogance, I'm like, oh, I'm true blue Orthodox, as someone recently described herself as on the Twitters there.
Shall remain nameless.
Take a look at yourself in the mirror. Take a strong look at yourself in the mirror because you have a disgusting amount of pride spilling out of you. Accuse yourself first before you come on to other people's chats and pissing inside the tent from outside of it. Get out of here. Pathetic. Anyway. Vic's in the chat. It's like he's one of those morons who says we shouldn't bring converts. Oh yeah, there's people like that. Wow, Rick, you should do what I do and be super humble like me. Yeah, I'm the most humble one on this entire live stream. No one's more humble than me.
I'm the humblest.
As the most Orthodox dude on here, I really want to tell you how freaking humble I am. Yeah, no, I know it's like the default thing to say, but if you get a real good look at who you are as a person, it's easy to be honest about saying you're the worst of all sinners. I mean, you aren't going to get judged.
You keep spinning. You shouldn't. Keep doing it.
Yeah, you aren't going to be judged on a curve. You're going to be judged by, whatever. I'm not going to get into that, I guess. It's important to. You'll never stop battling pride. You'll never reach a point until you're dead where you're like, finally, I've conquered pride. It's just not gonna happen. It's always there. So always be checking yourself for it. Don't roll up to people, and just being rude to them. I don't know who you are, dude. I can't wait. Vic's like, yeah, like you can start venerating me anytime now. Yeah, I can't wait to see the icons of me. What those are gonna look like, guys. Did they get to feature the Rome is Burning logo on my icons, guys?
Oof.
I hope not. I made this low weather clip art. I'm glad I figured out how to do use somebody this time, because last time I had when Hubris was on here, there was that dude posting trash, and I couldn't figure out how to like block him or remove him, so I had to start ignoring the chat. Sadly.
Well, you can deputize somebody to be a mod to like delete comments and kick.
Deputize Rick. I mean, I'm Vic.
Because I'm a mod in one of Hubris's chats still.
Yeah, someone commented on my yesterday's stream like, "Lol, Hubris, literal FBI informant."
Yeah, probably.
Like, okay, because he what you call it? Because he reported to the FBI people who were doxing and doxing and threatening his family.
Well, he also had like contact with the FBI. He talked about it. They said they liked his content.
Yeah, it's funny that they were laughing. They're saying he's funny. Listen,
but same thing could be said about like Bard, and like that's like a 17-year-old kid, like. It's because the FBI hit you up doesn't mean you're a Fed. But even if he is, like, who cares?
Listen, if someone's doing something to your family, if someone's doxing and chasing your family down, trying to dox all your friends, and not only that, but your family's friends, yeah, I don't care. Call the cops. Do it. And if anyone has a problem with that, I don't understand why they would.
It's just harassment, You could sue people who do that.
Okay, this guy's still on here. Get out, dude.
Alright, I'm almost at my destination. So I'll probably have to hop off in about 10 minutes to buy some books, but I'll be pretty quick.
I think I might get off too. I don't want to be on here when some jerks flooding my chat with trash.
Weren't you going to read something from that book?
This is the worst thing. This puts me in no mood to read anything. It really sours my mood.
What's Patrick Stewart say? Mood is for love play.
Who? Oh, Patrick Stewart?
In Dune.
I can't remember.
Mood is for love. Mood is for love play, my boy.
This fellow with the Arabic name says the far right are all fed, LGBT, or autists. Some are all three. I appreciate the pure autism here at Rome is Burning. Thank you. We try to be as autistic as we can be. We can manage ourselves. And if you could tell us how to pronounce your name, or what what I should call you, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, nobody knows how to read moon runes.
I used to. I took like a year of Arabic in college. And it was fun. You write chicks' names in Arabic, and they're like, "Oh my god, so interesting."
I don't know what it means, man.
Well, the structure of Arabic was surprisingly similar to Spanish.
Spanish had a lot of Arabic influence.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably a lot of shared vocabulary too.
Basil, fan. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Basil.
Basil. Vasily.
Vasily.
All right, I'm gonna be right back. I gotta buy some books.
All right. If anything else, I'll I'll record this, me reading this thing later and upload it separately. If anyone's interested in that. I'm gonna shut the stream down. Whatever.
All right. Well, see you around, guys.
All right, y'all.
Chatting.
Later.